I'm Batman.
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me? Who's got you?
Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
I'm a doctor. But probably not the one you expect.
I'm Captain Kirk.
Welcome to the special Geek This Week presentation. This is the Arthur Darvill Panel from Pensacon 2018 at the Saenger Theater in Pensacola, Florida. Arthur Darvill, famous for playing Rory Williams, one of the 11th Doctor's companions in Doctor Who, also played Reverend Paul Coates in Broadchurch, and most recently Rip Hunter in Legends of Tomorrow. Arthur Darvill, during this panel, talks about his overall acting career, being also a musician, talks about, of course, his time on Doctor Who, Legends of Tomorrow, and much, much more. Please be advised that there is a jump in the middle of this panel. The battery in my camera died and took a minute to change out the batteries. Otherwise, everything is a great panel, very interesting and fun, so I hope you enjoy it. And don't forget to check out all the other great Comic-Con panels on the Geek This Week YouTube channel. And please leave a like on this video. Thank you.
Thanks. This is nice, isn't it? Yeah. Hello. Hello. Do you not get a microphone? No. You have to really project. We can show.
Alright, well, first question is, have you been able to see much of Pensacola yet?
Not really. I went for a run this morning. It's hot here, isn't it? Bloody hell. I got like 4 miles round and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I got in this morning and I nearly just stayed in my hotel. This is gross. I couldn't stop sweating. So the first people I met this morning, I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm really moist. Yeah, but it's nice, seems like a nice place. Just driven through that. This theatre is amazing. We should do a musical.
Yeah, it's not normally this warm at this time of year.
Wow, thanks for bringing up the sun.
Sure, it's comfortable. I guess, what led you into acting?
I'm from like a family of performers. My dad's a musician. He's a hand organ player, and my mom is a bit of everything. She started as a puppeteer, and did lots of kids TV and stuff in England, but also did acting. And so I kind of grew up with it, and then went to like a weekend youth theatre, and we thought we were amazing. It was quite incredible, actually. We were really, it wasn't patronising or anything. We did like big shows. We did things like Amadeus and Little Shop of Horrors, and you know, big Shakespeare shows when we were like 11. And we then went up to like the Edinburgh Fringe Festival with an Alan Ayckbourn comedy when we were like 13, thinking that we could, you know, out-act all the professional people out there. We thought we were great. So that kind of, I just always did it. I'm a musician as well, so I've kind of taken after both of my parents. And yeah, then I was about 18, and I knew it was what I wanted to do. And I'd done like bits of like television presenting and bits and pieces while I was at school. And I was really lucky to get kind of opportunities that were around. But everything was just pointing towards being on stage. I just wanted to do theatre. And then I saw a play in Edinburgh, which was a play called Someone Will Watch Over Me by Frank McGuinness. And it was just like a university production of it. And I was watching it and I just went, I can't do this. This is amazing. And so I decided to apply for drama school. I went to drama school and now I'm here.
So, Doctor Who, what was the process of getting that part? Because did you know that Rory was going to be on it as much?
Not at all. I'd taken a break from acting for about 6 months. I'd been doing lots of theatre, but a lot of music stuff I was doing was taking off. And I'd written a musical, and I had also, we did this, after I left drama school, because when you're in drama school, you're like doing lots of physical stuff every day, and, you know, you're working long hours and stuff, and I was really, this is really vain, I was really skinny at drama school. I left drama school and I put on loads of weight, loads, and I was just eating everything that could come about, and I took some time off. I looked at myself and went, God, I've got really fat. So I took time off to kind of concentrate on my music for a while and to lose some weight, and I thought, right, I'm going to come back and just get healthy and stop drinking so much beer and take myself a bit more seriously. I don't know, I was like 25, 26. And so I took some time off, and then while I was, like Edinburgh's played quite a big part in my early career. I used to go there a lot. And we were doing my show, I was MDing the show and playing piano and guitar for it. And while I was up there, the casting director for Doctor Who was up there, and I think they were looking for the young Amy Pond at the time. But they decided to do some auditions for Rory in Edinburgh. And quite a few of us had gone up for the part when we were up there, because a bunch of my friends were up there doing shows, but I just was like, oh, this job would be amazing. So really, it was the first audition I'd had for a while, and I really went, oh, okay, if I can get this, this would be something really great. And I connect, they wouldn't say anything about the role, they didn't say how many episodes it was in. It was all very, very secretive. I just got like 2 scenes that weren't even real scenes because they were so secretive about what they were putting in the show. And so I didn't really have anything to go on. And I got a great piece of advice. There's an actor called John Slinger in England who, look him up, he's amazing. He's a big Shakespeare actor, and he's started doing lots of films and stuff now. And he was my mentor when I left drama school. And he said that whatever audition you go into, no matter what you do, you know there's going to be lots of other people going on for the same job as you. Just give them something different that they haven't thought of. And even if it's totally wrong, at least you've made an impression. So, with nothing to go on, I just made a big choice to make him desperately nervous. And I wanted it to be like, because I wasn't a big fan. I hadn't really watched that much of Doctor Who, but where I'd seen it, I always thought, oh, there should be someone in this who's like the outside eye, or like the person who is kind of representative of the viewer. Because so much of the stuff is fantastical and you know, you get put in these strange situations and everyone just seems to take it as if it's fine. And I thought, well, if I was in that situation, I wouldn't know what the hell to do, so I kind of brought that to it. So I did that and didn't think anything of it and carried on doing my stuff. And then got a call saying, well, we want you to come and audition with Matt. And they'd already started filming, so they were all up in Cardiff because they'd started filming. I think they did like episode 3 and 4 first. Just before they did the first episode of the series. And me and Matt worked together on a play a few years before, and we'd always said that we were kind of like looking for something together where we could play brothers or something, or that we really got on and we wanted to work together again. And this came up, and so I was like, oh wow, this would be great. So I went up to Cardiff and met up with Matt, and he showed me around the TARDIS, which was very cool, and then I went in and did my meeting. And because we'd worked together before and we knew how each other worked, we just had a real laugh. And I knew the director as well, because I'd done a thing called Doric with him, and we stayed friends. So it was like just walking into a room of friends. And I'm awful at auditions, I really am. Like, I try and get something different, but I'm also, and especially if I haven't done it for a while, I just get so nervous and really. But that seemed to work in my favour with this character. So I just went for it, and me and Matt got up, because that's a big shot, we got a car to take him from Cardiff to London, which I thought was the coolest thing in the world. so we had a couple of beers in the car, and he was like, "Man, you're gonna get it, you're gonna get it." I was like, "I'm not gonna get it, I'm not gonna get it, I'm gonna give it to someone else." And then it was like months, it was ages, and I just thought, wow, this isn't happening. And then, it's a really long story, sorry. I went back to my parents' house in Birmingham, and was doing my tax. I was feeling pretty sorry for myself. I was surrounded by receipts, and I got a phone call to say I got the job. And I stopped doing my tax. Felt much better about life.
How long after you started doing it did you start noticing everyone noticing you?
It was quite a while. I mean, also, when we started doing it, we were all new. We didn't know if it was going to work. Matt was really nervous about, being the new doctor, and already people had started. Because obviously Chris Epstein did a season, and then David came in, and David was so brilliant. I mean, both of them were brilliant. I'm a big fan of Chris Epstein as well. He's amazing. But that transition was fairly soon after the show had started, and I think, it hadn't gained such a huge audience as it had got with David. And David was so brilliant and really made it his own, that we were all really nervous that it wasn't going to work. But then, like any job, you just go in and do the job, and you learn your lines, and every day is just trying to solve those tiny problems. So you don't have a bigger picture about it. So it wasn't really until kind of after the first season aired, and we came over to New York to launch. I can't remember what it was for. It was like launched at the beginning of the second season that we did. We were like, wow, people really like this. This is amazing. We felt like rock stars for a bit, which was lovely. But I'm fairly private as a human, and I don't really go places where I would necessarily get not hassled. Like, I like meeting people. I like meeting them up and say hello, and I think that's amazing, actually. And the fact that people have watched your work and people are into it, especially coming to places like this where it feels like a real community of fans. I never thought when I started doing it, I'd be doing stuff like this. This is amazing. This is an incredible bonus. So I love that, but also if I fear crowds, so I've got much better with it, but it took a while to get used to. It really did.
Well, now you're involved with 3 different kind of iconic series.
Yeah.
Doctor Who, obviously, that's a pretty big one. But tell us a little bit about Broadchurch. Who's here seen Broadchurch? It's a fantastic and heartbreaking series, but on set, is it very, dour?
No, we all have a real laugh, because everyone's really funny. And also, I find when you're dealing with really sensitive topics and really sad things, the only way to not get really depressed is to have a real laugh doing it with total respect, but working with that group of people, and over such a long kind of spread out period of time, we all became such good friends, and we all knew that we were in something that was really good. So it's great to go to work when you know that people are into it, and that you're doing you get the script and you go, wow, this is really real, brilliant. We all had a really good time making that.
I feel like the cast from Doctor Who is taking over every series, because Broadchurch is full of...
It's basically Doctor Who without AIDS.
Yeah.
More sadness.
You've worked with David Bradley, Matt Smith, David Tennant, and now Jodie Whittaker.
Jodie.
Did you have any inkling it was going to be Jodie Whittaker?
No, I didn't. I feel really stupid. I'm not going to say who I thought it was, because it's not really fair, but I was certain it was someone else. Another female doctor. I was like, this definitely going to be that person. And then when it was Jodie, I was like, oh, of course it is. And she'd known for ages, and we'd been out for a meal about 3 or 4 weeks beforehand. She was being really weird. And she's like, I couldn't tell you. So we've spoken about it quite a bit since. I just think she's going to be amazing. I think she's going to be absolutely amazing. I can't think of anything else. But also, like, a lot of the stuff that Jodie's done has been very, very serious. She's one of the funniest people I've ever met. I don't know if she quite knows it. She's one of the most aggressive and funniest people I've ever met in my life. Yeah. Also, it's just like built to deal with it. She's been there, and she's very, very good. She's got the chops, and I think she's not going into it with any trepidation. She's just jumping in. Yeah.
I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah. We were also born on exactly the same day. Little fun fact.
Okay, so Rip Hunter.
Yeah.
When I started watching Legends of Tomorrow, first season,
Yeah.
I was like, very Doctor Who-ish there.
That was my thought as well. A little concerned about that.
I guess all the running and stuff in Doctor Who helped you a lot with that part.
Just really good at running away from things.
What kind of drew you to that role?
Well, honestly, if I'm going to be very candid, it did take some convincing because I was concerned that it was too close to what I'd done before. And then I looked at it, two things. When I got the audition stuff through for it, and I just taped for it in my house, because now everything's digital. You don't have to leave your house to go to auditions. You just video yourself again and then again until you get it right. And I'm quite a perfectionist, so if I say to my wife, oh, I've got a tape to do, she's like, oh, come on. Tape forever. And I get really angry, and I'm not very nice to be around when I do it, but it's just about getting it done and making it good. But I got the script for it through. The stuff, none of it was in the show eventually, sadly. Because it was really good. But the stuff was really good, and I just thought, I'm just going to go for this and play around with it. And I didn't think much of it because I was taping so many things. And I'd sent tapes in for like characters on Arrow and The Flash before and not got them, but they'd kind of got a relationship with the producers where they were like, we really like you, we'd love to bring you in for something that's right for you. And I was like, cool, that's cool. And at first I auditioned for it with an American accent, and they said, could you do it in an English accent? And I was like, yep. So I did it, and it was just really fun. And unlike anything I'd done before character-wise, like a lot of the stuff I've done has been very back foot. And I like this because it was front foot, and he was making decisions and, seemed to rule the scenes that he was in, so I liked that. But we didn't know what it was going to be. And also they make you sign up for 7 years. So I don't know if I can, I've got so much other stuff that I want to do, so I don't know if I can sign 7 years of my life away. So I had a few questions about it, and I spoke to the producers on the phone. I was doing a play in London, Treasure Island, all things, in London, and I spoke to them, and I really got on with the producers, Phil and Mark, and they basically convinced me that it was going to be great, and so I went, all right, let's do it, and I think I'm really pleased with the way it's going, with the way it's going. I think the first season it works differently in the States, like, you iron out the problems on screen, which for me was really nerve-wracking. I'm so used to, in England everything's written beforehand and you know, it's all worked out. But in America, there's so much of it, that everything's done very quickly, so it's a very different way of working. And I think the first season, I had some problems in the beginning, and I was like, I honestly wasn't that into it. And then after the first season, I got it. And I think what they've done with the show now and made it just this big space comedy is amazing. And there's nothing else quite like it on TV. And I'm so proud of it. I think it's a really brilliant piece of television. And it's great people to work with. I've had a real blast so far. And I think people who watched some of the first season, some people didn't quite get it. I didn't quite get it. And I think that's kind of scared some people off, but if you haven't seen it, from halfway through the first season onwards, especially the second season, I think it's great. Like, I really encourage you to go and find out. And like now, the stuff we've been doing, because I'm in and out of it now, because I've got other things on, and they've been really great about letting me go off and do other things, but I'm very much part of the show, and it's been great, actually.
I like, instead of Sonic, you got that 6-shooter blaster.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's very cool.
But
they let me, like, because it's not real as well, like with guns they're normally really careful with, they don't let you take them around, but for some reason I just walk around with mine all the time. I don't know why they've done that movie, so it looks it's not real.
Season 2, you got to get some really juicy parts with
Yeah.
because you got to play kind of the villain role. Villains are always fun.
That was my favourite bit. I got to play baddie and I got my own horse. Great. I don't have any horse training either. I've done a couple of jobs on horses, but they just go, yeah, just go on, you'll be fine. The horses know what they're doing, and they do. But for this, we had to it was a big battle scene, and it was muddy as hell. And I was on this huge horse, and they were like, right, what we need to do is just charge from this side of the battlefield through all those people to the other side of the battlefield. And I was like, okay, I don't know how to ride a horse. What do I do? They were like, just kick him. Alright. And so I did. The first take of it, they couldn't use because I kicked it and it just bolted off, and I was going. Yeah, we need to do that again. You look too happy.
You do a lot of stage work as well.
Yeah.
For you, is there a different type of preparation for television versus stage?
Absolutely. Often you go to the first day of rehearsals on a play, and you have no idea what you're going to do at all. And the best jobs I've done are the ones that have really scared me, and I've gone into rehearsals and supposed to speak to the director, and I don't know what to do with this yet. And then you work on the text, and you find things through rehearsals, and you get to try different things out, and I love that process. And it took me a while to work out that you couldn't do that on TV. You'd be going and going, yeah, can I try again? And I'm like, no, that's it. So it's a very different process. It takes more preparation, especially for something that you're just doing a one-off or a first episode or something. Once you get into it and you know your character, and you know how they tick, and you know where their emotional centre is and where their, what their wants and needs are, you don't have to. You know how they're going to be. So now playing Rip, I can go into it and look at the script around the lines and I know what I'm doing with it. But beforehand, it's a lot of for Rip, I felt there was a lot of kind of more of a theatre way of doing it. I felt like I was making decisions as we were going along. But for most things, you prepare, and then you know exactly what you're going to do on the day. And then if anything changes, then you've done enough preparation to be able to deal with it. Yeah.
You're also a musician.
Yeah.
Do you have any musical influences that kind of got you going? What got you into music?
Well, my dad really. The house was just full of music when I was younger. He's amazing. We call him Fingers because he's got these really fast fingers. He plays all like keyboards and Hammond organ. And so when I was a kid, he was on tour with Fine Young Cannibals and the Ruby Turner Band, and various really cool people. So I was just going to gigs when I was a kid. And then when I was at school, I'd always written music and written stupid songs. And then I was at school with a guy called Mike Dangerfield, who's in a band called Guillemots, who are amazing. And he was in a band a few years older than me. We used to just go and watch them rehearse, and they were amazing, really great. And so he's been quite a big influence on me. And I got to play after the break in seasons of Doctor Who, he did a solo tour, and I got to play guitar for him for a while, which was great. But I moved more into, I was always in bands. And And then when I was at drama school, I met a guy called Chet Walker, who's an amazing playwright. And he'd written a play years before and heard me playing the piano one day in a rehearsal room. And just said, do you want to write a musical? And I went, I don't know how to do that. He was like, don't worry about it. And we had similar, we were both into like old soul and funk music and stuff. So, and I'd never written anything like that. I was writing really jangly indie music about girls. So we started writing a musical, and it was the most amazing experience. And that musical, so we did that 10 years ago now, which makes me feel odd. And we did it in London, we went to come to Edinburgh and stuff. And then we sold the film rights to it, thinking it was never going to be made, and that they were just giving us a check, and that was nice. And we were never going to hear about it again. And it's just been made, and it comes out on Netflix in the next few months, which is quite exciting. And I took a step back for the filming process, and they had the songs, and I kind of helped with production and with some of the arrangements and stuff, but very much let them do their own thing with it. So I'm really excited to see. I haven't seen it yet. I'm excited to see what happens with it. It's called Beat So Long, and it should be on Netflix soon.
Check that out. Does anyone in the audience have any questions? Yeah. Line up at the microphones here, and we'll be able to answer this. Do you have a favorite singer or band right now?
I'm a massive radio fan. I can listen to them all. They're my go-to, really. There's so many bands. There's an English band with Everything, they're amazing. And I think the last Bowie album is just a work of genius. I'm really glad that he released that album.
Alright. Let's start with you over here.
Oh, okay. Oh, hello. I was going to ask, I don't know if you already said it, and I apologize if you did.
Don't worry.
When you're like really scared or anxious, where you like want to throw up but you can't,
Yeah.
what do you do to calm yourself down for like anything?
I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? Like, I think nerves play quite a big part in performance, and I think sometimes they can be really useful. And I always used to be like, I learned to enjoy it, to enjoy that feeling. But then you get like 3 months in, and you're like, yeah, I'm just going on stage. And you miss that feeling. So it's part of doing the job is like almost trying to regain that sense of nervousness. So I like trick myself into thinking that everything's going to go wrong, which it doesn't. But yeah, I think you can talk yourself into using it for good. Everyone gets nervous. Like everyone does. Everyone does. Most people's personalities are based on ways of dealing with that pressure. Like some people can be real acids, right? Most of the time it's because they're really nervous and don't know how to deal with the world, so they've put on a mask to make them less vulnerable. And I think we all have our ways of dealing with it. That's my little bit of therapy for the day. Thank you for that question.
Right over here.
At what point did you realize River Song was your daughter?
I worked out early, because I'm really clever. I worked out before Matt and Kazza, so we were all having dinner, and I turned to Alex, and I said, yeah, I think I've worked it out. What were we talking about? Because Alex knew. So I think I've worked it out. I think that you're my daughter. She just turned to me and went, hello, Daddy.
I bet working with her gets me nuts.
Oh, she's great. She's so much fun. I love her to bits. We've all stayed really good friends as well. That's one of the best things about having worked on that show is that we're all still in touch and like each other. So that's good.
Right, over here.
Hi, Arthur. I wanted you to know that I really appreciate your work in Broadchurch.
Thanks.
The vicar is probably my favorite character on that show, and I wanted to have you discuss maybe what inspiration or what path you took to develop him into such compassionate and clever fellow.
A lot of it's in the writing. He's written like that, and I felt a responsibility to, we talked a lot about him being, wanting to be the moral compass, but have I think part of him is driven also by, it's difficult, the fact that that happens to that town means that there's lots of attention on him as the spokesman for everyone, and to be a kind of public voice, and how that, in a way, is a positive thing for him. And that wrestling with that is a very difficult thing in terms of dealing with his faith and dealing with who he is as a person. So I thought that was a really interesting, subtle character to have to explore. And I went and hung out with some cool thinkers, which was great. This guy, I met this amazing guy who, I went up to his parish, and my age, he had a big beard, and it was like his dog collar and a hoodie and Vans on, and I was like, God, you're the coolest vicar I've ever met in my life. But he was like a local celebrity as well. Like, he's like, I can't walk around the supermarket with someone without someone coming to say hello to me, or so did my research, and I thought it was a really fascinating, interesting character to have to play with someone in a situation he wasn't quite sure the right way to do.
Thank you. Right over here.
Hi. So when I was living in New York, I got tickets one night to this little musical called Once, and you were so fantastic in it that I went back 3 more times.
Wow.
So I was wondering if there were any other theater productions in the horizon that you could tell us a little bit about.
That I'm doing, I am doing a play in London, but I was meant to be, I can't say what it is, but it's meant to be happening as soon as I got back, and it's just been pushed back to the autumn, which is fine. Various reasons, but I'm really excited about that. I can't talk about it. But Once was my favourite thing I've ever done in my life as a job. I got to play guitar and sing and play a really interesting character with just a bunch of great musicians and actors in my favourite city in the world. So it was a very amazing, slightly surreal 9 months of my life. Yeah.
Thank you. Over here.
Hello. You grew up in an artistic family with artistic parents in the Midlands. My mother grew up in the North during the end of music hall. Could you talk just a little bit about the role of the arts, and particularly drama, in the UK, outside of London, in everyday life, versus how you see it different versus the United States?
Oh, I don't know. It's a good question. I think I was very lucky because I had a lot of it around. And there are lots of local art centres and lots of local theatres and people putting on stuff. I was not pushed into it, but encouraged from an early age. It just seemed like the thing to do. But I travel the country, and I think some people still find it hard to get into it or to know how to get into it. And I think I think things have changed now with the modern dawning of celebrity. I think that's been quite damaging to people actually wanting to go and do good work. For a while, everything became fairly London-centric, I think, which I can only see as a bad thing. But then when I was at drama school, there were people who'd come from all parts of the UK to come to my drama school. So I think it is encouraging. There's a huge history of performance and theatre, and it is accessible. I always think it could be more accessible. I think our government have been awful with encouraging arts in the schools, and I'm a big advocate for keeping a good drama education, not just for people who want to be actors, but I think it can really help in everyday life. You learn compassion, you learn how to communicate with people, and I think those are all really important things, and school shouldn't just, learn how to count and write things down. It should be much more than that. And I think often people forget that it's not just about passing tests, it's about getting an education. So, I don't know how it works over here. I mean, it's such a huge country, but I've worked with a lot of people from all over who seem to have had, good access to theatre programs and music programs. So, I don't know. And LA's different. LA's like a whole thing in itself, where I find it really odd, a really odd place. Yeah, I don't want to say more about that.
Thank you. Okay, over here.
I was wondering, when your character Rory dies at the end of Pilgrim, did you know they were bringing you back?
I did, yes. Yeah, they were very nice. They said, we're not killing you, we're not killing you. So that was good. I liked dying so many times. You always want to, we all joke about death scenes when we're actors, because you only get to die once in life, and that's probably going to be shit. Sorry. It's going to be awful. So to get to do it in like a fun TV way, it's great. Stop worrying.
Thank you. Over here.
One thing I like about the characters in Doctor Who is that once the show ends, a lot of times they'll go into audiobooks, like from Big Finish. Yeah. I know Alex, she's got a series coming out. Are you doing any voice work in there, or is there a future project that you're going to be working with Big Finish? I
try and work with Big Finish as much as possible, just because they're really nice, and the lunches are great. Really good. And they're really lovely people. I'd love to do, it would have to be the right thing. But yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, would I love to do? Yeah, I suppose I would. It's funny with the characters, you leave it behind, and I'm always looking forward. Even it's a bad character trait, maybe, but as soon as I'm doing something, I'm looking on to the next thing, because I'm impatient. So, as long as it didn't feel like a step backwards, and it felt like something cool, a one-off or a little thing, would be great. Just on a Torchwood audio thing for Big Finish. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Don't tell me.
It's on Twitter already.
I've just done a thing for Big Finish, which will be out at some point, but I'm not going to tell you what I'm playing.
They should do Rory the Cyberman Killer or something.
Yes.
Rory the Roman.
It's just battle scenes.
Thank you. Over here.
Hi. Who is your favorite person to work with on Legends of Tomorrow?
Ooh.
Watch yourself.
That's such an unfair question. They're all lovely. I love all of them. I really have struck up a wonderful friendship with Victor Garber. I think he's just... I'm a big fan of everything that he's done, and the way he approaches his work is incredible. Also, if you haven't, look up the pictures of him in Godspell from the 70s, and it's got this huge afro hair and like a clown makeup. He looks amazing. And yeah, he's great. But like, we all really get on. It's long hours, and it's harder work than I've ever done in my life, so everyone gets quite tired, but it's a really great bunch of people. Yeah.
All right, I got time for a couple more questions. Who's over here?
Hi, I was just wondering, with the Arrowverse, it's been kind of building up for a long time, and you have this pre-established universe. What was it like coming into that in such a big way?
It was great. It was quite nerve-wracking, but it was great. I really enjoyed it. And again, we didn't know if the show was going to work, so we just built it. But when I got there a week early before we started shooting, and just, wanted to get the lay of the land and do some work and learn everything. They were building the Wave Rider, and it's in this huge hangar. and you can walk from one end of it to the other. They built the whole thing in one room, and it's just amazing. And it was all still being painted, and bits of it weren't, like there were walls missing and stuff, and I just walked in and went, wow, this is huge. And it was just very, very exciting. And it's good, when I was doing once, Carlos Valdes was in once as well, he plays Cisco in The Flash. So I'd given him a call and asked him, you know, what it was like and what was going on. And he'd given me some good advice. So it was great to have someone there who I knew, at least in the same city, and doing a kind of similar thing. So he was great for a bit of advice. But yeah, it was just very exciting.
Thank you. All right, over here.
Hi.
So, in Doctor Who, what was your favorite sonic screwdriver?
I think it was Matt's one, but I never got to use it, so it's a bit of a bone of contention, to be honest. Yeah, what's your favourite one?
Mine would be the 12th Doctor's sonic screwdriver.
Why?
Because of the noise it makes and how quickly it can do stuff.
Noises are important. Thank you, good question.
Look at a laser tip shoot. Alright, over here, I got time for 2 more questions. Sorry.
So when you guys were filming The Angels Take Manhattan,
yeah,
what was it like for you knowing that that was the last time the 3 of you would be together and having Rory be a central part of that story?
It was amazing. It was very emotional. And we knew that we were leaving, and we'd all planned it together with the producers. Myself and Karen had sat down with them a year before and mapped out what was going to happen, which is unheard of, actually. Most of the time you read the script and go, oh, great, okay. So you never really know, but Stephen was he's so good at just making sure everyone's happy, and it felt like a real family. So we knew it was coming, and we were happy about that decision because we were both adamant that we wanted to leave on a high and not outstay our welcome. But Karen refused to read the script because she was like, I've been totally in denial about it. And I read it and was like, it's really good, it's really good. We've got a lot to do, you've got to read it. So eventually she did, yeah, it was, and also that trip to New York we'd done before as like a press thing was just a great weekend, and we had a really good time together. So the fact we were going back to film in New York, which has always been like all of my childhood movies growing up were basically New York-based movies. You know, you go there and you feel like you're in a film, and to actually go there and film there was just a dream come true. So it was great, but very emotional, and then very weird. And then of course, because it's filming, you do your last day, you get emotional, and then they go, oh yeah, we forgot to get some stuff. You come back in a month and just film just with the second unit, just film some bits. And so there's like a load of false endings. So eventually it's just like, I just want to go, I've got other things to do. But yeah, it was extremely emotional. And weird, because you expect it to be sad and a big event, but also just another day of work, and you're trying to get it done, and you can't let that influence what you're doing. But the last scene we filmed wasn't even in that episode. I don't think it was us going into or coming out of the TARDIS together, which was a really lovely thing to actually have as the 3 of us together. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, last question.
What was your reaction when you found out the new Doctor was going to be a girl?
I thought it was the best decision ever. And I hate the arguments against it, and I hate the arguments like, oh, why can't we have a female James Bond? The Doctor can be anyone, and I think it's such an important, iconic character. Why not? Like, it's about time. And also, you want to pick the best person for the job. I can't imagine any, and if you go, oh, it can't be a woman. It's a unique character. It can regenerate into anybody, right? it should, it should be limitless. It should be an unlimited choice of who it could be. And it's a gift of a part to an actor, because it's so much fun. You get to play so many different facets of a really loopy person. So it's an amazing role. And Jodie is absolutely the best person for the job. And I'm so excited to see what she does with it. Yeah.
You can see Arthur the rest of the day and tomorrow over at the Bay Center.
Come say hi, really fun to hang out with.
Thank you very much for being here.
Sorry for swearing, thank you for putting up with me.
People with VIP. Big round of applause for Arthur. People with VIP passes can stay here. Everyone